Hello guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today I'm gonna review the new Tyler the Creator album, Call Me If You Get Lost. Tyler the Creator has been an artist I've been listening to since quarantine, and when I heard the Igor album, it really made me a fan, as I've started listening to all of his music, and I do have favorites like Bastard, Wolf, Igor, and Flower Boy. So coming to this album, I didn't really have any expectations of what I wanted the album to sound like, because the thing with Tyler the Creator is that he changes his style every album. And I would like to say that this album was great. Sure, maybe conceptually this album is all over the place. There is a concept here, but it isn't as present compared to Igor or Flower Boy, because most of these tracks sound like Flower Boy and Igor B-sides, and others sound like a more modern day update to his older albums like Wolf and Cherry Bomb. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but even coming to this album, it was still enjoyable because there are way more louder and heavier cuts that remind you of Wolf than there are slowed down tracks. The louder cuts are usually the highlights for me because the production on most of them are amazing. Take the track Melonhead. The horns are loud as hell and they sound amazing. There's entertaining references to like Odd Future, Jasper, even a Bart Simpson reference. I like the track Manifesto that goes on the topic that you wouldn't even think Tyler would even talk about, because it's about the racism of America. The intro makes fun of people who think that every black artist should have an opinion on whatever is going on in the black community. In his verses, Tyler talks about how blindly people follow religion. Tyler talks about as well about how no matter what he does to try to spread a positive message, people are going to still bring up his controversial past. Even Damo, which I didn't expect for him to really bring that great of a verse, even brings up some interesting things like the biases against the black community. This track was pretty interesting for me more than instrumentally. It is still a highlight for me, but really more like topically and lyrically, less than really what it sounds like. Maybe not all the louder tracks are really highlights for me. I feel like Juggernaut at moments sounds like an Orca ripoff. I do like the track, but I feel like when we're at the last like 5 tracks of the album, the louder cuts do start to fall off for me. But even still, there are way more jazzier and synth heavy tracks as well that I still think are highlights. The track Run It Up has this earworm of a chorus. The track reminds me of the more jazzy songs from Cherry Bomb, but a way more updated version to Tyler's more current style. Another track that reminded me of a Cherry Bomb track was Sweet, I Saw You Wanted to Dance. The first half has this earworm of a chorus that I like. It also kind of like makes a modern day version of the Cherry Bomb perfect. Look it up. Just compare both of the choruses. They're practically the same. I love the synths on the track, and even Tyler's pitched up vocals was very complimentary for the track. These are one of the few cuts where it actually follows the story on the album. The first half tells how Tyler is blindly falling in love with this person who isn't even giving him that much affection. Later on the track, Wilshire or whatever it's called has later revealed that the person that Tyler's blindly loving is already someone else's love interest that is cheating on, that the person doesn't even know. It pretty much ends the entire relationship in that track. But then the second half, Tyler finally realizes what's actually going on, and I feel like that's really what the second half is really Tyler wishing he never met this person. And then on Wilshire, which continues this story, really shows Tyler ending the relationship because he's realizing how much he's actually doing wrong in the relationship. Wilshire, I think, is probably my least favorite track. I don't entirely hate it. It's just that I feel like with such a minimal beat and its runtime, it really does drag on a little bit. I do like it lyrically, but I feel like with such a minimal beat that barely even develops, it really does start to drag on. Another track I liked was What's Your Name, which is a pretty charming track, which shows Tyler trying to pick up with this girl who is later revealed as the love interest of the entire album. There's some pretty funny lines about indie movies and stuff, and the NBA Youngboy feature was a nice touch to it. Other tracks I enjoyed, like Rise, is my favorite song in the entire album. The chorus is pretty catchy, and the lyrics are about Tyler, how he overcomes any obstacle coming his way. It was a pretty nice track, and I love the chorus and the production on well as that track. Overall, I enjoyed this album, and I think the biggest issue people are gonna have is maybe how this album is not as conceptually good as Igor or Flower Boy, because it is all over the place. This album feels more like a mixtape because the tracks are less of a story type and more just like they're thrown on there. But I still think there are there's still a lot of things that you can really take away. If you like the louder cuts, then guess what? This album is really for you. But if you like the jazzier cuts, then still this album is for you. It's pretty much a Tyler compilation with a little bit of a concept, but even still, it's a pretty entertaining album, and it's probably my favorite album of this year so far. I am feeling an 8 out of 10, closer to a 9 than a 7, and hopefully y'all enjoyed. I'll leave the album in the description below for y'all to listen to, and yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed.
Shut up, bitch. Suck my dick. You fucking bop. You better swallow it. I got a chain with a fucking platinum plaque on it. Is that $100 bill? I'll shit on it. I bought a fucking whale, cause I'm ballin'. Yo, bitch work for me. She's my dishwasher. Swag on my dick. 30,000 million.